What's going on, guys? It's your boy Crypto Michael here, coming today with a hardware install update, guys. Today we will be installing the version 1 backplate as well as the version 2 backplate from TUL on the BCU 1525 and testing things out. And believe me, you'll want to stay to the end because some things happen that you may not be expecting. Just maybe. Alright guys, so now that we have the Ubuntu rig, the BCU rig fired up and Ubuntu's loaded up and I've programmed the first bitstream, which is a private bitstream. I'm going to refer to it as private T on my list that I have here, but we're going to do a little bit. Today is the full testing like I was saying, so we're going to go over, first we're going to go stock. We're going to test out Handshake. And then we're gonna try out private T first. Then we're gonna do Handshake, and then after that we're going to install this, which is the version 1 TUL backplate. I really don't think this will have much improvement over stock, but it will be an improvement over stock. That's for sure. That I will guarantee. I think. And then after we give this one a little test, we'll take it off and we'll install the version 2. And the version 2 will stay on there. But kind of wanted to test it out to see what it was like with the version 1. Anyway, do a comparison. You can't buy the version 1s, you just kind of got to get them out there in the wild. They might come with, if you buy the TUL WaterBlock setup from Osprey, I think the version 1s come in the kit. Pretty sure. But as well as we're gonna, after we do that, like I said, we're gonna install the version 2, which we have here. So after that, we'll install this bad boy, the version 2 TUL backplate. With the it's upgraded by a lot. Has heat pipes, larger thermal pads, has sharp edges, so I'll have to be careful and we'll have to take that off while I run it and not touch it, otherwise it might cut me. So good to know. Yeah. After installing the FPGA, please remove the black foam pieces. Will do. Thank you, TUL, for sending me this to help to even start this testing. Because without y'all sending me this, I wouldn't have this, of course, and I would be running probably the version, probably stock for right now until I further upgrade it into the rest of the TUL WaterBlock setup. Which, if you watched my last video of the unboxing day, you saw the upgraded, we unboxed this, the upgraded backplate versus the version 1, which we unboxed as well as the TUL WaterBlock. So we're going to waterblock it. I actually have the rest of the kit on getting ordered, looking at the rest of it right now, and we will get that set up and hopefully we'll have another video, because we'll have to build out that rig as a water block rig instead of running it as a air cooled. So we'll see how this does and we'll dig in a little further. But I've been interested in this testing for quite some time. Well, bam. So right here on private T is what we're going to be testing on right now. Currently it's 75 degrees where it is sitting. I have a temperature in there so I can see it for the ambient temperature of the area, because it does play a factor in this situation. We'll see the gigahashes. I know it's going to be pulling about 178 watts at 0.66 volts. which is what I have it set at right now, which you can see above my head, right there. You can see where it says current volts, which is 0.662, as well as the current temperature, which is 23 degrees Celsius. So that's where we're sitting at right now before we start mining. I can't show you all the stuff on the miner because of it being private, and it shows stuff that I can't show you. But I'll tell you, of course you'll see as everything warms up. So of course we'll get into here. Alright, so we're setting the core to 560 megahertz, which we have right here. Setting at 560 megahertz at 0.66 volts, running stock. This is the most efficient setting that I have found for me right now. That's running air-cooled, keeping down low watts, low temperatures, but still maintaining a good hash rate. So with upgrading this, of course, we'll see an increase of voltage because I'll be able to either increase my voltages or just leave temperatures lower. So right now we are currently getting miner side 5 gigahashes. There you go. So you can see getting 5.2 gigahashes up there in the corner, as you can see. I'm kind of holding it right there. So about 5 gigahashes. There's a dip down, not that bad, because it'll go back up eventually. So we'll let it sit there for about 5 minutes or so, and we will get a full readout. Okay, so we are back after 5 minutes. It's been mining away here. As you can see, we're putting in about an average of 5.02 gigahash. So we're just gonna call it. We're just gonna call it 5 gigahash. Whatever. 5.02. At our FPGA temperature, we're at about 68 degrees right now, which is a little on the warmer side. So 68, about 68C right now. I keep pressing the wrong keyboard. Anyway, so there we go. I can't check my LTCs or my phase temperatures while I'm mining through next JTAG, because it's utilizing the USB port. So I can't check those currently, unfortunately, until I figure out a better way to do that. So that's stock on there, so let's go ahead. Close that down. So now we are going to cool down and reprogram the bit stream for handshake. So let's do that now too. Okay, so we have reprogrammed the BCU to my handshake. I moved this window down a little bit, so I gotta kind of hunch down so we can see it. Current temperatures sitting around 25 degrees Celsius because we haven't done anything to it yet. So now I'm gonna start the miner up, and then I'll show you the miner once it starts mining after that, because it shows shows addresses and other information. So just 1 second. So on this one, we are running at 0.68 volts, and then we are running at, it says 400 megahertz on the core. I set it to higher, but it seems to stop it at 400. So 400 megahertz at 0.68, because running handshake runs really warm. Ambient temperature is still 75 degrees. Good enough. So there you go. Come on, camera. Focus, camera. There you go. Okay. So right now we are putting down 2.4 gigahash straight out of the box. Of course, we'll let this mine for about 5 minutes, and then we'll see what we're coming up with temperatures and hash rate. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. I've been sitting here mining. Camera does not like how fast the miner screen moves, so it keeps unfocusing. So I'm sorry, I'll try to make this one quick. So we're running at around 2.4 gigahashes according to the miner. 2.4 gigahashes per second. Running around 190 watts, 400 megahertz as we can see, and we're running around 70 degrees Celsius. And I can achieve a way higher hash rate than I am right now, because I am underclocked by a lot. I should be, per the miner, it should be sitting at 0.72, and I'm undervolted by a little bit. You know, I'm running at 0.68 because it's air cooled, so it's not running as cool as water cooled. So of course, like, all these things will change. You know, like, as you can see right here for comparison, you know, Nemesis BCU is running at 4.3 gigahashes at 200 watts, and he's running at, I think it was 0.74 volts. And I know he's running at probably about the same, maybe 420 megahertz, maybe. You know, and he's running way cooler than I am, that's for sure. But he's also hitting almost double the hash rate, just because he can run higher voltages, because he can run it cooler. And of course you can run higher clocks and everything. So as you can see, yeah, we're still sitting around 70 degrees. So we will FPGA temp. So running at 70 degrees. C on that. So now that we've tested both of those, it's hard to test the all mine right now with this. I know this is what it was all running at originally. Running at like, I think I was getting like 12 gigahashes. Per second, if I remember correctly. And I was running way higher temperatures, but it's kind of hard to test that one out while I'm doing this on this operating system. I can run it, but it's kind of difficult, and my motherboard seems to fight me when I switch over to it, when I switch back. So I'm not going to mess with that right now, for the sanctity of I don't want to mess things up right now. But so what we're going to do is we're going to pause, come back. I'm going to cool the FPGA down for a minute. That way I can actually touch it. We will begin to install the version 1 backplate, and yeah. So we have BCU and we have the version 1 backplate that we're going to attach to this now. Now that we're all cooled down, I'm not going to like hurt my fingers or anything. All the funnies, but so we're gonna dive on into this bad boy. So we'll be utilizing, actually, take out all 4 of these. So those two, and these 2. We'll remove the backplate, and then we got to remove the 4 tension screws in order to put that back on. And you drop that. So. I'm actually kind of interested to see what this does versus this, the stock backplate versus the version 1 versus the version 2. I would love to really see if I could get a Dynastech backplate and really test it that way too and see if that has any benefit, but I don't know if it would even fit with the blower. So we don't really know. So there's all of that. We got some nice warm clip in there. So see there. So this is the one. Let's see, where's the LTC? Main chiplets that get the hottest. Alright, so I love how the green screen. Hello everybody, can y'all see me behind there? Because the board is green, the camera is picking through the backside because of the green screen. That's really funny. It is hilarious. Bad boys. that I have removed those all the way, we can now take this, because we are going to, I'm still going to take the plastic off. It's okay, guys. Just checking it. So that's basically what we're going to look like now with this. So it comes just as far as the original. All of these little bitty tabs. Now I'm not running with these indefinitely. I'm going with the version 2s. I'm not going to use these version 1s. So, that being said, I will never actually be using these. Because the version 2 is by far better than the version 1. Alright, so we'll go just like that. Boom. And now we can. Nice. That's what I was afraid of. Was that these tension screws are actually going to be too big, which is fine. Because the version 2 actually comes with different pressure mounting screws than the original. Get a few good turns in there, the way I know it's got some pressure. Let me get the rest of these bad boys in there. Gotta really go down deep with those ones. Hope y'all are all doing great. I hope y'all smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget that bell notification so you know every time that I'm posting videos. Especially right now during the BCU series that we're doing. So, as well as make sure you head down to the Patreon in the link and down in the description below, guys. I greatly appreciate it because with y'all doing stuff like that helps me do stuff like this and really help out a further testing, and share this video with everybody you can, because it helps me grow a following, and the bigger following I get, the more well known I am, I guess, and since that way I can reach out to companies like I did with the TUL, reach out to them and get this board, because if I hadn't, you know, if having a semi-good reach is helpful. That is for sure. that is sunk all the way up on there. Looks like it is. Let's see what one of these other different screws from the other kit does for me compared to the ones that were just in there. I don't think anything is wrong with these. But I'm just going to switch to the rest of them. Actually, just for the sanctity of them all matching. Came out with it. Now the version 2 actually uses all 4 of these screws instead of just the 3 like the version 1 does. Alright, so we have upgraded the backplate from the original version 1 backplate, as we can see here. Come out just a little bit further before, but yeah, you can see it has thermal pads on there already on this one. This one does too. And then of course once we test this one out, we'll swap over to this one. And yeah, like I was saying, you know, here are the 4 this would be this 4 screws. Where's the camera? There it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one screw right here that's not being used, actually that's not connected all the way through. So interesting as it is, yeah, so we'll fire this thing up, and then once we have this thing up and running, when we do testing for this, when we are doing the testing for this, we will increase our time of testing from 5 minutes to I'm going to go for about 30 minutes. That way we have a longer testing for thermals. I'm going to test out at first. I'm going to see. We'll test out, you know, for at least 30 minutes or so of the thermals for what it is, and then we'll see if the temperatures are better, if we can up voltages and see what it does, because at higher voltages these backplates do better at cooling. So we'll see how all that fares out, and then we will take it off, and then we will install the version 2 backplate. So without further ado, guys, we will install this bad boy and start on the next. Let's do it. Alright, so as you can see, we are now back onto the BCU mining rig. I have the version 1 TUL backplate on right now. We're running at 23 degrees Celsius as we are currently sitting. So let's go ahead and start up the miner. I had set my voltage already to 0.68 because we're going to mine Handshake. And get that started. Alright. So there we go. So we're up and hashing. And we are currently sitting at 57 degrees Celsius. And that's just as we first started the miner. I'm sorry, it keeps trying to like refocus on the camera when it moves so much, because this one moves a lot compared to the other miner. So yeah, we will see. We'll see if this helps. We'll see if doing that helps. Just keep them separated a little bit. Seems like it does. So we'll let this run for about 30 minutes to see a real good test on the thermals before we mark down our stuff and move on to the next miner, and then we finally move on to installing the version 2 backplate that we will install here shortly. So let's wait it out, I guess, right guys? Alright, so we are back. Still mining Handshake with the BCU, and that's been about 30 minutes, and I am not thoroughly surprised. It didn't do any. It did not any better. I saw temperatures of like 74 at one point before they calmed back down. That was like right when it first started. About right after I paused the camera for a second, so we could wait. But yeah, so interesting enough to see that. See right there, 73. So we're gonna go ahead and call that 73. So Handshake version 1, 2.4 gigahash a second. Still putting down 190 watts. We did not change the voltage. Volts, we're at 400 megahertz. B1. Still using those. And 73C. So, not surprised, not any better. So we will cool down GPU, and once we cool down the GPU, we will load the next bit stream onto it, private T, and then we will test it again. Private T runs pretty cool, so it might be good, it might not. We shall see. And now, so now we are cooled back off, and we can now run the next bit stream, private T as I call it. Get that back where it's supposed to be. So we'll do that, FPGA, setting clock to 560, which is what we were using before. So 560 megahertz. I'm still at 0.066 volts. Still pulling about 178 watts. And we shall see what happens. So we will let that run for about 30 minutes or so, and we will come back, check hash rates, check temperatures, and we'll see what happens, guys. So guys, it's been actually a little over 30 minutes. I actually had to cool it back down a little bit because it's a little cool in my office right now, and I had actually turned off the AC in my office, and temperatures climbed up rather quickly. So again, like I was stating, not really surprised that it's not doing good. Hash rate's the same. Temperatures are actually a lot worse. We're looking right now. We're looking at 70. We're gonna call it 73C. That's what we're gonna call it at. Hash rate is still the same, 5.02 gigahash per second. So yeah, so now we're gonna cool this thing back down, so that way we can install the V2 backplate, which I know will be way better than the version 1. I didn't think the version 1 would do any good. This was just kind of just for testing and fun purpose. So let's cool it down and then install the V2 backplate and get back to hashing, right? Yeah. Okay, so now that we have finished up the testing from the version 1 backplate that we have right here, we're going to go ahead to uninstalling it and installing the version 2 backplate. So we'll be changing from that one to this one. As we were kind of talking about in the last testing, I did not think that this backplate would prove any significant performance or increase in performance, and I was right, because it didn't. It was not any better. It was actually, in terms, it was actually worse than the stock backplate was. Stock backplate actually let and dissipated that heat, I think, a little bit better than this one did. I'm not really sure why. I kind of thought it would be a little better, at least, or at least remain the same, not get worse. So I'm not really sure why that is, but nonetheless, it was worse. That's for sure. So we're going to dismantle this one. And we will switch over to the version 2. Is that actually, yeah, it does. We're does it even cover that one? But it does. So this was the version 1. So we're going to swap over to the version 2 backplate because it has way better, it is sharp, thermal cooling capabilities compared to the version 1. So be careful because it is a little sharp. So we will swap over to this one. And big old thermal pads. Jeez. The Jeezers. Cannot see anything. It's like I had light earlier, but now I have no light whatsoever. Go ahead and not drop screws. Way down. A little bit more difficult to install. So sure why it's not lining up properly. Throw one of these smaller screws in. Like I know it's lined up. These ones just a little bit of snug love. So give me 2 extras. compared to this one, you got the 4 screws here, and you got 2 there, which is the 2 that are over here basically. And then you only utilize the 3 on this side, and you leave out the top one. But on the version 2, you don't do that. You actually use that one. So, a little bit nicer. Bear with me, guys. So I don't know what was... I was struggling so hard on one of these. I just swapped out. So I feel like it just, you feel it move, and all of a sudden it worked. And I was like, okay, whatever. I struggled for like 3 minutes on one screw, but it's fine. Damn. But they aren't gonna lie, those things really are sharp. So make sure we get all of those nice and snugged up. There we go. So we now have the version 2 TUL backplate on here. So bam, all the way down. So caution, sharp edges. Glad it's at the bottom. Awesome. So wow, that adds quite a bit of more weight to it. That's for sure. So there's the the thickness of this thing compared to the version 1 backplate, which is right here. So version 2 are stock, and then version 1. There's all 3 of the different kind of 3 of the backplates. There is one more, and it's by Tech. They have created their own backplate, and interested to see how that one really compares up to this one. NIM actually uses the Tech WaterBlock, and I actually am going with the TUL WaterBlock to see how that one plays or fares out compared to the Tech. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this turns out and how much this one varies different compared to the version 1 or compared to the stock, because the version 1 obviously wasn't as good as this or even the stock. So if your choices are stock or version 1, just go stock backplate so far. Of course, I'm sure version 2 is going to be way better, so let's find out. Okay, so we are back with the BCU up and running. As you can see, we are already doing like really good. We're sitting at like 20 degrees Celsius, so we're already like 2 degrees cooler at idle, not doing anything at all. I did go ahead and flash the voltage. So we are doing handshake again, so we'll be doing, at first test, we'll do 0.68, 0.68 volts. Alright, we're going to be 400 megahertz, same as it always has been. Bam. So we will see how we fare out. I'll get the miner up and running real fast. Alright, there we go. We're off to the races. Currently at 55 degrees Celsius. Temperature's going up quick. See how we do running on handshake, so we'll give it its time frame of sitting there and hashing away, and we'll give it about, I don't think we'll need very long. It seems like it's actually already getting pretty warm, which I don't understand why. Oh wow. So we're going to go ahead and shut that down, because that is really hot. And that should not get that hot with the version 2 backplate. So something is a little wrong. So give it a minute. Well, I'm going to go ahead and kill this real fast. So, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about what just happened. So, as you just seen in the video, our temperatures got really hot. We closed the miner out, and it's still temperatures climbed for a second, but I immediately I killed the video, and then I killed the machine, let it fully thermal down, did a little bit more testing, talked with TUL. So big shout out to TUL, guys, because they've been talking with me, and we've been trying to kind of figure out what the issue was. More or less, it's just the amount of airflow. The TUL version 2 backplate as well as the version 1 backplate really like a lot of air. They like a lot of air going down the backplate, and if you don't have enough to support that, it doesn't function right. It doesn't function properly. So it's a bummer. I worked around a little bit. We sit there and chit-chatted. I tested some things out, and I got it to work. Not longevity, especially the way I have things set up and where it's located. I just won't be able to force enough air down it. That won't be like I did, but it didn't work out like great. Like, it worked. It cooled it. It stayed cooler. You know, the temperatures didn't go above 70 degrees. I mean, it's good, but not something that I can run long term. As well as I have other stuff that is on the way anyway to cool the BCU completely. So it not a failed test, but an interesting test. Nonetheless, so y'all can kind of see. I assembled this one just kind of out of the extra, because I have an extra blower and extended heatsink, because it got damaged, and then when I bought my BCU, it already had an extended heatsink on it, so I still have this one. So I just assembled it, just so that way you can, you kind of get the gist of it. This was my issue, was I wasn't getting enough air down this tube right here, and it therefore was, temperatures were just staying high. It was basically just all of the heat was just staying trapped right in between here, and inside these fin stacks with no air flowing through it. no air pushing it down or pushing it out. It just stays there, stays stagnant. The temperatures get hot because there's just not proper cooling. In that particular case, the stock backplate did better than this backplate, just because of the fact that the stock backplate doesn't have a big like heat sink on the back of it like this does, that without proper airflow traps air and doesn't let it perform like it should. So I was able to like get like a regular, just a regular little CPU fan, or it's from a CPU, but it pushes out a lot of air. I was literally just, oh, camera's a little further over. Just had it sitting like this, just like that, and I had it blowing air straight down into there, and it worked. It was keeping it cool, not cool enough that I would want to run it like that for long term, but it worked. As you can kind of see right here, this is the BCU air funnel kit that Rumpel made, and that the TUL backplate really works well with. The reason that being is because if you see like right here on this backside, there's actually, it's extended. There is a piece that comes out the back and pushes straight down the funnel, or not really the funnel, but this blower kit right here is Rumpel's kit, and it actually centers this fan to where it's dead center in this, so over just a little bit, and then moves it back so that way you can force air into both of these heat sinks, from the extended heat sink in the front and the backplate's heat sink. So that is why it works extremely well there. I couldn't get enough air down there at the time of the video in order to do that. I accomplished it a little bit later on in the video. I might try to recreate something to make it work. I'm not really sure. I actually have not this. Here's the TUL backplate. As you can see from the FPGA guide, this is the one that TUL sent me personally to test out. This does work. This is basically what I did. It works. Not great, especially here. It was getting started. Ambient temperatures were getting warmer here right now, so this isn't going to function right now unless I was running really low watts, putting in like a power saving mode to say for the BCU. So that was this, and then we will see all of this stuff. I went ahead and I was talking with Osprey, and I talked to him, got a good deal, and I went ahead and bought the entire rest of the cooling kit. So I have this reservoir coming, some of those. These are the water blocks that I bought. There's the version 1 backplates with them, which is where you get them. You get the version 1s when you buy the water block. I have this variable pump, radiator. Like, I have all of this stuff. It should be here actually tomorrow, which tomorrow is actually the last day for the actually today is the last day. So if you haven't registered on Gleam, you need to get on over there. Oops, I guess I gotta go to the right one. So you got 21 hours left as of this video. It is 2:12 in the afternoon, so you'll have this video actually here in a little bit, but this is the finaling of the video. I had created the whole video, and then we had to stop the testing, and yeah, so I didn't want to damage the BCU. That was the main concern, was not damaging the BCU. So not gonna I would love to try that longer with putting the fan in front of it, but I really just don't want to damage it. I really don't want to chance it with a piece of hardware that's really expensive. So they're not cheap. So guys, if you please, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so anytime that I make videos or go live on this channel. There will be a going live event here soon. As for the build, because I'm gonna have to rebuild the entire FPGA mining frame and water block it. So we'll have a video for that, or a live stream coming up for that here soon. So stay tuned for that. As well as, if you found this video informative at all, please feel free to share this to anybody that you want. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, TUL. You guys were a big help in making this video, for sending me the backplate. I would greatly appreciate you guys. Go and check out their website. I'll have a link for you down below, and give them a thanks in the comment section, as well as see you guys next time. Keep on mining, guys, and peace out.